British couple who've given up work, sold the house, given away their possessions and are on a full life van tour.
So come join us as we go around Asia and Europe. We're heading back to Europe now and see how Christian faith and van life work together
on a wing and a prayer. It's Saturday morning and it is thunderous this morning. We've had wind blowing all night long and we're on this little peninsula, so we're probably feeling it more than is actually normal. So what do you do on a awful Saturday morning? Well, you go for a run, and Mr. Ray's run with me. So we've run from here all the way along right to the other side and back, 1.5 miles. And now for a treat. What are you making for breakfast, Mr. Ray?
We've got proper bacon that we bought in our UK shop.
Woohoo!
Sausages,
Woohoo!
proper, that were bought in the UK shop. Beans that a gentleman knocked on the door and gave us.
Yeah, that was really kind, wasn't it? So somebody knocked on the door and gave us a big thing of beans that they'd made.
And some eggs, so technically we're going to have a cooked breakfast.
Will there be toast as well?
Well, you're asking a lot, yeah?
And a cup of tea perhaps?
Shattered after that run.
You did very, very well.
Probably I didn't corner because it started thundering.
And Dillilah, she's all chilled out now. You're not having any bacon. It's going to be a very lazy Saturday. Mr. Ray's got the teapot out, so we should be here for some considerable time.
Let's even watch your film.
Ooh, the rain's on the roof.
Saturday matinee.
And we may get a Saturday matinee in. It's like a sunny weekend in Wales. This is what it's like when there's a storm in the van. It becomes very, very noisy. Thank goodness we've got tea. Thank you, Mr. Ray, for my happy Saturday morning breakfast. Smiles all round. Back to the big hills, 1 in 7. Come on, Frankie, you can do it. It is very, very steep. We're now in second? Third. At the top of the hills inside.
Dillilah, please put more weight on.
This is a place that I've been interested in coming to. I actually thought it was just a myth, but Troy is an ancient city. We're just going to find out its history. And here we have some horses of Troy. First time we've seen mounted police in Turkey. The only thing I really know about Troy is the wooden horse of Troy. At the moment it's scaffolded up, so they're doing some repairs, and this is about as close as you can get to the reconstruction of it.
Right, this is part of the ancient remains of Troy. This is what they went for. Horse, my kingdom for a horse. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Dave. Here's a tortoise for you, always wanted another one. Happy birthday to you. Here we are, looks like the most preserved bit of the actual city of Troy. With the size and the depth of these walls, you can tell why it was probably a bit impregnable. Yep, as we came around the corner, Troy, because it's in Turkey, obviously has to have its hills. And there you go, all the way down there. I'm actually bending the camera so you can see, but you shouldn't do that because like that. Look at that. Just so that they could ride their chariots up and down these hills. So you have the strongest horse. There we go, we're going down now. What's up there?
That's a squirrel having a standoff with a cat. So we don't know if it's got babies up there.
Sounds like open season.
See you jump then. It's going crazy.
Might start throwing nuts at us next. Where's it gone? Oh, there. Oop. Noisy beggars, aren't they?
It's quite nicely done. It's cost us £4 each to get in. We should get about 3 hours before it shuts. And it's a circular walk, and the bulk of the walk is this boardwalk. So we usually end up getting lost and can't find half of it. This should keep us on the straight and narrow. This jug is called a pithos, and I'm sure you've seen it. They seem to be all over the place. And the reason that they're pointed at the bottom, they used to have them for storage on ships and also in houses. They would bury the bottom half to keep things cool. They'd put grain, oil and wines in it. Ian's just read as well that often these were recycled and used as burial urns. Excavations first started here in 1856 by a British naval officer called John Brunton, and he was historically minded, but his main purpose of digging was because there was actually believed to be treasure hoards here, and subsequently other archaeologists that followed did spirit away some of its treasures. But it took until the year 1996 until the Turkish government realised that this was something very, very special, and so adopted it then as an archaeological site and a national interest. The archaeologists worked hard and they found the treasure, and the treasure was discovered treasure was discovered just over here, and it was smuggled out of the country. And this is the wife of one of the people wearing the treasure. When they excavated it, it was still standing to 1.5 meters high. So here you've got terracotta, then you've got the mud, and then on the far side you've got the rocks. Troy was a city that kept being captured, and every time it was captured and knocked down, somebody rebuilt it. And these are the different layers: 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 6. Well, Troy, a little bit disappointed, if you don't mind me saying. It's not often I pay to go into a museum and come out without the information I've been looking for. We've been in here a couple of hours now, and it's been lovely, but we have still not got a clue what the wooden horse is all about and whether it's true or not.
Google.
Feeling a little foolish, right at the entrance we missed the first plaque, and the first plaque tells us that Homer, who was a poet and wrote the Odyssey and Iliad, wrote down about the possible myth of the Trojan horse and the 10-year siege on Troy. So that's where the horse comes in.
And they also found a vase.
And they've also found a vase, and
which they reckon depicts the horse. See?
I shall show it you in a minute. Such a busy day today. So we've had 2 visits, one to a harbour and then one to the ancient city. Then we've had to nip to town to go and find some internet, and it's now 7 o'clock at night, but we don't need any tea because we went to McDonald's to get the internet, which is lovely. And this is the beauty of van life. So we've come out of the city, it's took us 17 minutes to get here, and this is the view for tonight. So we're going to park up here for one night, just to enjoy the beach and the quiet. Jobs are good in Mr. A. Happy weekend, everybody.
Well, good morning. As you can see, we are on the Asia side, and over there is Europe. This is the Dardanelles, and as we've gone out for a walk this morning, we have been joined by a lonely little duck who's been following us down the bay. Oh, sorry to say that, his mate's just joined as well. So that is Europe over there. We're on the Asia side. We're about to leave tomorrow. We're going to have one more night here. And then over onto that peninsula down there is where all the war graves are. We will show you when we get there. But if this chills down just a little bit, might even get the boats out.
Today is another significant day. We're going to be leaving Asia, or the Turkish side of Asia, and we're moving over to the European side of Asia. And to do that, we're going along the Gallipoli Bridge, which is the longest suspension bridge in the whole of the world. There was one in Japan, but this is 32 metres longer at over think it's a bit expensive. We think it's about £9 to get over. So we'll see. Oh, it's a bit steep. So we're now crossing the Dardanelles over the Suspension Bridge, which is the longest suspension bridge in the world.
So, goodbye Asia.
Back to Europe.
We get halfway along. Now between Asia and Europe. That's where these dip. That's it. We are now back in Europe. Hello Europe. Hello Lidl.
Does feel a little bit warmer. Here's the bridge on the other side. I hope you enjoyed that experience. When we got over, it's actually cost us £18 to get over it. It'll take us a good while to get over that cost. I don't suppose we should really grumble about the cost of the bridge, because we've been through so many of these tunnels, some of them 2 kilometres wide, and there's been absolutely no cost going through these at all. Just surprises me that they've gone to all of this trouble and the roads are virtually empty.
It's the first chance since we got over the bridge.
Yeah, it is. But we're always so thankful for tunnel makers, because it means we don't have to drive up mountains or down mountains. So thank you, tunnel makers.
Cheers very much.
We've come down to the beach just to see and get a feel of what it would have been like to land a boat and then try and get up these hills while you were being shot at. And as I've just come down, I have found the tiniest little poppies. How glorious are they?
Again, Turkey, as soon as you get off from the sea level, is just so darn hilly. What I'd like to know is when the Gallipoli armies met together, whether they were actually expecting it to be like this. Now, those top plains up there where we're going, that would have been from where the Turkish soldiers would have shot, giving themselves the advantage. And you get caught in crossfire as you got round this corner. So it would be really, really bad. But before we get to those, we've still got to continue going down. We're going to have to go down into the valley and then back up the steps. So coming around on this walk, you have to excuse me for being out of breath. We're almost at the top. That would have been the top of the hill that all the armies would have been fighting for to gain the advantage, being on top of a hill. And as you can see there, you can see the walk. So there's a big valley down there. We've had to come down and then across. In the background are the Dardanelles that they were fighting for to stop Istanbul for having trade routes. And they were saying that they were trying to get a route to Russia in order so that the Russians would help the Allies against the Ottoman Empire. So as they're all hiding in the trenches, this became their town. There's a trench down there and it says Main Street. Typical soldier humour. There's another one that was called Rifle Town. Obviously they all hid down here. And yeah, it just makes you think. The old song, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again.
So we found it. This is the graveyard to the West Yorkshire Regiment, and most of the soldiers, I mean here's one that was only 19, most of them died within 3 months of getting here. It's absolutely beautifully kept. If anybody has any family that were killed here in the First World War and came from the West Yorkshire Regiment, you can be assured that it's a very, very respectful and beautiful place. This is one of the main memorials, and we've just got here after walking up that hill, and there's a huge car park. We could have actually driven the bus up here. This is an interpretation of the Kanalaki War that was fought here. First World War. Monuments to the soldiers. It's so lovely up here. I can't tell you how well maintained everything is. I've actually thanked the gardeners. And it's just surrounded by so much beauty. It's hard to consider that there was actually devastation. Here's a monument to freedom. An elderly Turkish man making way for the future generation. Dillilah wasn't allowed in the cemetery, so she sat there with her nose peeping through the gate waiting for us. She looks like a cartoon twitcher. To 6 at night, we're really tired and fed up, and we've just ditched the van in a load of mud. Ian's desperately trying to go as fast as he can to go backwards and get out of it, because we were just well and truly stuck. Keep going, love, keep going. You've got it, you've got it. Oh, go, go, go. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I really thought we were going to be stuck there all night. It is just... It didn't look this bad before we drove over it. This isn't something that happens often, but occasionally we have to do it. So we'd parked up by the war graves, and we wasn't sure we should actually be there, so we was a bit not settled anyway. But then the winds got really, really up and banging the side of the van. The car park was so small we couldn't really manoeuvre it into a position to get sheltered. So we've decided to move on. So we're going 15 minutes down the road now. It's gone 11 o'clock at night.
We didn't get a knock.
We didn't get a knock. We moved before we got a knock. So we're just desperately trying to find now another site. We had got a plan B, but it's closer to the gendarmerie, and we think they might knock us up. So we'll just see how we go. We had to get out the wind. It was really smashing against the sides. So I'll show you when we get there. Ooh, that was a bit of an adventure. So we've arrived. You look like it. It's well gone 11 now, and we'll just see if we get the knock. We've both got our tracksuits on to sleep in. I don't know whether we're going to get a good night's sleep. I really hope we do. Last night it was massive thunder and lightning storm, torrential rain. The night before that was high winds. So this is this is the third night on the road now. And yeah, we definitely need a good night's sleep. Well, it looks like we're not going to get a good night's sleep tonight. So it's midnight. We've just had a knock on the door. 5 policemen. We slept here last night, no problem. And 5 policemen have said no, forbidden. We must move. So we're off on our journeys again, trying to find somewhere to go. Last night in Turkey as well.
This is a reconstruction of one of the war sites, and this is how much room there would have been fighting between. That would have been no man's land just here. And this is the Turk sign. This is what the Turkish would have wore. And most of the soldiers were Australian. So this is the Australian sign. And after reading that notice, it says that all these people who came over lie in friendly soil. And my question again is, what's it all for? War. What is it good for? And the question was, this piece of water here is what they all gave their lives for. Europe, that side, Turkey that side. The bridge in the middle, if you can see it. And who's got the water now?